This will be the first in a series of videos on respiration for A-level and higher students. Before jumping straight into the complex metabolic pathway, however, it's worth spending a bit of time putting the process into context and discussing some of the key chemistry and biology concepts from previous years that are going to really help you make sense of this topic. So let's begin with this apple tree. And we have a person here, and the sun. So this all begins with the process of photosynthesis. Plants are unique in their ability to be able to absorb light energy from the sun and use this to drive photosynthesis in order to synthesize their own glucose. And this can then either be stored as starch in the leaves, or it can be used for growth and repair. So this apple contains lots of stored sugars within its cells. As humans, however, we don't contain photosynthetic pigments, so we're not able to make our own glucose using energy from the sun. We've got to rely on eating things in order to meet our nutritional needs. So this person's going to pick that nice ripe apple and eat it. And you'll recall that we have digestive enzymes in our saliva, in our stomach, and in the first part of our small intestine. So when this person eats this apple, those digestive enzymes are going to break down all those complex sugars into monomers of glucose. And that glucose will be easily absorbed through the wall of the small intestine into the blood and can reach all of our cells. This glucose can then be used by our cells in the process of respiration to then release energy in the form of ATP. So let's remind ourselves of the equations for photosynthesis and respiration. So in photosynthesis, we've got carbon dioxide and water, with energy from the sun to drive this process. And that energy is stored within the bonds of this glucose molecule. And oxygen is also produced. So when we eat that apple, and our digestive enzymes break down the sugars into glucose, which can then be absorbed into the blood and then get to all of our cells. Inside one of these cells, we can then use that molecule of glucose in the presence of oxygen to produce carbon dioxide and water as byproducts, but importantly, to release energy in the form of ATP. And we'll talk more about ATP as a storage molecule in a further video. So the energy that was stored inside the bonds of this glucose molecule is released in the process of respiration. And that energy is used to drive the synthesis of ATP. So if we think back to chemistry, we can call respiration an exothermic reaction, because it's a reaction that releases energy to the surroundings. In contrast, photosynthesis is known as an endothermic reaction, because it takes in energy from its surroundings.